So before I start my sermon, I had a question asked of me today by some of my family. So they said, well, it wasn't a question, it was more a statement, like, it's funny that you wear Santa Claus on Christmas. Well, that's because I don't have any Christmas sweaters that have Jesus on it, but I did find this one. And I'm thinking that this is a must buy. Y'all ready for my birthday? And then I was like, is that offensive? Because it wouldn't offend me, but then I was like, I wonder if that would offend somebody. Would it offend somebody? I just think this one's hilarious. I'm like, I love that. And then I saw one that had Jesus and Santa, and it said, we saw that. And I was like, I don't want a kid to ask me ever about Santa, because I'm like, you're going to have to talk to your parents about that one, because I'm not going to talk about it. But this way I just get asked about Jesus, so that works for me. We're going to talk about Jesus as shepherd today. I was praying this week and Lord kept bringing it to my heart. Find me, Jesus, and how he is the good shepherd. And I was like, Christmas, we usually talk about Jesus' birth. We usually talk about those kind of things. But this is what the Lord took me to. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the history and those kind of things. But we're going to start out with some of the prophecies. I tried to print it out today. I'm going to post it on our website, on our Facebook page. I have a whole sheet full of links from the prophecies of what Jesus fulfilled and the locations that he fulfilled them, and it's a whole sheet. And then what's cool about it is if you see it if you click on it on the internet, it'll take you to those verses. If I hand you a sheet, you've got to look them up, which is a good thing to do, but a lot of people won't take the time necessarily, because you got to dust off your Bible first, and then thumb through it. No, just kidding. But I will post that for you guys. And if you'd like a hard copy, I can make you a copy after church. So, Jesus, find me. All right, it's not very big. He ran, he rescued, he carried. And I saw this, I saw this picture, and it was like, this is Jesus. This is Jesus, come find me. I saw this picture, and I just wanted to cry. I was like, this is exactly why he came. He came to rescue us. He ran after us. We're clueless. I love the look of the sheep. We're the clueless, muddy sheep that has no idea we're in danger at times. And he rescues us. And then he carries us to the place we need to go. And this is one of the prophecies from Isaiah. Listen, and this is going to sound familiar, this verse. Listen, it is the voice of someone shouting, clear the way through the wilderness for the Lord. Make straight the highway through the wasteland for our God. Fill in the valleys and level the mountains and the hills. Straighten the curves and smooth out the rough places. Then the glory of the Lord will be revealed, and all the people will see it together. The Lord has spoken. O Zion, messenger of good news, shout from the mountaintops. Shout it louder. O Jerusalem, shout and do not be afraid. Tell the town of Judah, your God is coming. Yes, the sovereign Lord is coming in power. He will rule with a powerful arm. See, he is bringing his reward with him as he comes. He will feed his flock like a shepherd. He will carry the lambs in his arms, holding them close to his heart. He will gently lead the mother sheep with their young. That's what shepherds do. And when I read that verse, when it talks about that is the prophecy, when it says someone shouting, make way, John the Baptist was that. That's the fulfillment. John was the one who came and he shouted that God was coming, that Jesus was coming, that the Messiah would arrive. And when it talks about, he says, flatten out the mountains, fill up the valleys. What that spoke to my heart this week was God's saying, make it easy for my people to get to me. Just fill up every gap. Wherever it's hard, when you see a kid and you watch them trying to do something and you just want to make it possible for them, And as you watch, you know, like if you're a parent or you have a younger sibling, you watch them trying to do something, you think, I just want to help them. And you see they're going to trip. You want to fill that hole, you know? You want to level the field so that they can make it possible. That's God's heart for us. He's like, I don't want there to be a stumbling block. I don't want there to be anything that makes it hard for my people to get to me, because he desires to be with us. The first prophecy of Jesus as the shepherd is in Ezekiel. For this is what the sovereign Lord says, I myself will search and find my sheep. Right before this, historically, so you know what's happening, right before this, there's a prophecy saying shepherds, and it's talking about the leaders. It's talking about the people that God had put in place to take care of his people. He's saying, I'm going to judge you because you have not taken care of my people. Right before this is, so it's Ezekiel 1 through 11, where God says, you've scattered my people, basically. You've treated them wrong, and now I'm going to come in and I'm going to do what I wanted you to do. God had put people over Israel to care for them, but they'd done a bad job of it. They had represented him badly. And so now he's saying, I'm going to come, and I myself am going to search and find my sheep. I will be like a shepherd looking for his scattered flock. I will find my sheep and rescue them from all the places where they were scattered on that dark and cloudy day. Historically, this is talking about Israel being removed from its land. There's over and over, as you read in the Old Testament, man, they got taken into captivity so many times. It's unbelievable. I mean, it wasn't like little. It was like 400 years at a time. They would be in their land, and then they would do wrong things, and then be taken into captivity, and then God would release them and bring them back. Here he's talking about this scattered flock. When I looked up, because later it talks about a different type of flock, but it says this one's scattered, means literally they have been chased away, pushed out, gone out. And when you think about that, what happens when people are believers and they get hurt? They scatter, right? When somebody comes to church and then they get hurt by someone, they scatter, they run. And what is God saying? I'm going to come and I'm going to find my sheep and I'm going to bring them back. And that's his heart for us. So it's looking at historically, this is what was happening. And what is the fulfillment in our lives is God saying, I'm looking for my people no matter where they are. I'm going to go and I'm going to find them. I've highlighted and read the things he does because I think it's important for us to realize what he does. I will bring them back home to their own land of Israel from among the people and nations. I will feed them on the mountains of Israel and by the rivers and all the places where the people lived. So he's going to find them. He's going to rescue them, or us. He's going to find us. He's going to rescue us. He's going to bring us home, and he's going to feed us. I will give them good pasture land on the high hills of Israel, where they will lie down in pleasant places, and feed in lush pastures on the hills. I myself will tend my sheep and give them a place to lie down in peace, says the sovereign Lord. I will watch for my lost ones who have strayed away, and I will bring them safely home again, and I will bandage the injured and strengthen the weak, but I will destroy those who are fat and powerful. I will feed them, yes, feed them justice. All right. So, sorry, I'm going to break it down now. For this is what the Lord says, I will search and find my sheep. Okay? We talked about this. He finds us. We don't find him. Did I spell something wrong? Zion had a funny face. I was like, what was that face? Oh, shoot. Did I spell something wrong again? No. Oh, okay. Jesus finds us. All right. He's looking for us. Have you ever felt completely lost from God? I mean, there's obviously when we've been lost where we aren't walking with the Lord, but there's also those moments in life where you're like, I don't feel like I can hear him. I don't feel like I can see him. And this is something I love for people to come into an understanding of. If you can hear this, his ability to find you is greater than your ability to find him. So if you think I've got to find him, you're not going to find him. He's going to find you. It's kind of like you're searching for each other, but he already knows where you are. I mean, that's kind of cool. It says he's going to find us, but he already knows where we are. His ability to find you is greater than your lack of ability to be in the right place at the right time with the right idea and having the right motives and doing everything that you think you need to do right. We come up with this list like, this is how I need to be. And God's like, nope, I'm just going to find you right where you are. And he rescues and he saves us from every situation. How many times have I walked into situations and done dumb things? I mean, I have lists. I could make up lists of things that Della's done that was not smart. And what does he do? He rescues us. He saves us. We don't have the ability to save ourselves. He does that. I will bring them back home. Historically, this was fulfilled in, I wrote it down, the exact year. I want to get it right. 1948. Israel was brought home and made a nation in 1948. There are people alive today, obviously, several of you, only a few. I mean, most of you were born after 48, I think, right? Just kidding. I was going to say, I wasn't alive yet, but some of you were alive to see this prophecy fulfilled. And I think that's a stinking amazing thing, that you saw something happen that was fulfilled in the Bible. Israel becoming a nation again and its land being recognized. But what is he saying to us? I'm going to bring you home. How often do we just feel like, especially at this time of year, I just want to be home. I just want to be with family. I just want to have a place where I feel embraced. You know, you get to the point where your parents have passed on and you think, I just want to be home, but you can't be, because home is not home anymore, you know? And there's so many, there's so many of us that have lost people this year. And my heart was like, it was hurting this week, and just praying like, Lord, give people a home this Christmas. Places of embrace, places of comfort. And he's like, yeah, Della, I'm big enough to do that. I'm big enough to take care of all the people that you care about and beyond. And so that's what he does. He's like, he brings us back and he puts us in a home, no matter how lost we feel, no matter how confused we feel, no matter what happens. He's like, I am big enough to embrace. I'm big enough to find and embrace each one of you. And yes, I will give them good pastures. God is going to give us a good place. His intention for our lives is good. And so when we look at the future, we're like, okay, 2026 better be better than 2025, let me just say. 2025 was its own special kind of onion that I would prefer not to live again. Layer upon layer. I heard, Linda was telling me about a prophecy. I can't remember the guy's name. He's the guy that wears the leather jacket that you guys like. Robin Bullock. Bullock. The prophecy of this year was the fix. The year of the fix. I was like, oh yeah, bring it on. I like that one. That this year was going to be a year of fixing. And so as we're looking ahead, we go, okay, God, I know that what you have in store for me is good. You're going to give me a good place to be. You're going to give me a place that's pleasant, that I can find rest. He says there they will lie down in pleasant places and feed on lush pastures. God's saying, whether it's physical or spiritual, I've got a good place for you. And in most of the time, it's both. We do live in seasons of lack. I mean, there's no way we can look at the world around us and think, oh, God is always going to make everything feel so amazing, and we're going to always have everything we want and need. That's like, For me to preach that feels like a cheap gospel, especially if I was saying it to someone in Ethiopia. You know what? It's okay. Just pray because God's going to give you everything you need. And they're like, I haven't eaten in 3 days. It's just a different perspective. But understanding that we have this perspective that when we pray, God's going to give me a good place and peace, we think we're going to be comfortable. That's not necessarily what he's saying, but he is going to be with us. No matter what, he's going to be with us. And he's going to be that space, and he's going to fill up that lack wherever we have that need. And he is going to bring us to a place where we can have rest eternally and in the earth, I believe. I love the verse that David says, I would have lost hope if I hadn't believed that I would see the goodness of God in the land of the living. I hold to that verse so often when I'm going through a hard time. I think, no way, God, I'm not going to lose hope because I believe that I'm going to see your goodness in this earth. And I'm never going to stop believing that. No matter how hard life gets, no matter how many bad things happen, that is something I refuse to succumb to, is to believe that I won't see it here. That's like one of those uncompromisable truths for me. So God brings us home. That's the third thing. He's a shepherd that brings us home. He carries us. He doesn't even make us walk home. I love it when you see some kid trip or whatever, and their parent picks them up, puts them on their shoulders and carries them. They don't even have to walk home. Just big old dads carrying their kid home, and that's how Jesus is with us. He's like, I'll just pick you up and I'll just take you home. I myself will tend my sheep and give them a place to lie down in peace. This word tend literally means to guide, to protect, to provide. None of us tend sheep that I know of. You guys ever take care of sheep? You take care of sheep? They're not very smart, are they, I hear? And they stink, right? This week, a friend of mine and I had to try to catch chickens and put them in their coop during a storm. I looked at this girl, I said, I don't know how to catch a chicken. I tried to pet one and it ran away from me. She goes, don't worry, Della. I'll get the chicken. You open the coop. I was like, I can do that. So I went out and I opened the coop. And she just walked over. She just grabbed these chickens. I was like, how'd you do that? She's like the whisperer. She's like a ninja. She walked over. She's like, and all of a sudden she had 2 chickens in her arms. I tried to pet the thing and it ran away. I don't know how she did it. I imagine it's a little bit like that. Jesus is like, okay, come on. Jesus is going to tend us, right? I can imagine Jesus trying to tend some of us, being a little bit like chasing a wild chicken in a storm, all right? Here we are. Life is crazy, and we're like, we're like talking to Jesus. We're like, Lord, do you have any idea what's going on down here? Do you even see what I'm dealing with? And he's like, grabs us up and says, don't worry about it. I gotcha. And he takes us and he puts us in a good place. He tends us. He cares for us the same way that someone who loves their sheep would. And a shepherd, they would have understood a shepherd, this is their livelihood. This is everything. This is how they make their money. They didn't just let some person just take care of their sheep out there in the middle of nowhere. It was important that they would have risked their life for these sheep. And that's not something we totally understand because we don't live in that culture. Jesus takes care of us. He provides, he guides, and he nurtures us. So whatever place you're at, and you're like, God, I need direction. I need provision. I need you to nurture me. What does that mean? To nurture, to invest and to care and to pay attention to strengthen those things. I will search for the lost ones who have strayed, and I will bring them safely home. Okay, this is a different group. There's the scattered group, and there's the strays. The ones that are the strays. Okay, I will search for the lost ones who have strayed, and I will bring them home safely. I was praying about this verse and seeing the picture. So many people, over the years. I mean, if you think, Ben and I have been youth pastors here for over 20 years. And when I drive through town, I see teenagers, which are now adults, but in my head, for some reason, they're still teenagers. I see them walking down the street. And I know, like, they don't go to church. But I'm like, oh, God, just get them. Just bless them. Just love them. And I pray for them. And I see them. I see them working at restaurants. I see them in town. And it's so fun to see them all the time. It's amazing to have the opportunity to still be in their life. I mean, that's just crazy. That doesn't happen in big cities. And what does God do? He searches for the ones that have wandered off. And then he brings them home safely, and he bandages the injured, and he strengthens the weak. And so the ones that were like, man, I just love that one. Lord, just go get him. And he's like, I got him. And he brings them home, and he takes care of them. What happens when we go the wrong way? We get hurt, right? It's like making decisions that weren't in line with God. There are consequences, and we can't change that. But he does say, you know what? I'm going to bandage you up, and I'm going to give you strength. I'm going to bring you home. And I love this verse. But I will destroy those who are fat and powerful. I will feed them, yes, feed them justice. And this is talking about the predator. This is not talking about the lost sheep. This is saying, God saying, you know, the ones that have hurt my people, those are the ones that have gone after my people. I'm going to take care of them. I'm going to feed them. I'm going to feed them justice. That sounds like it should be in a movie. Okay, wait, I'm going to pull on my movie screen right now. Don't worry. I will feed you justice when I come back. That almost sounded scary, but not. Okay, I mean, it sounds like it should be in some kind of action movie. I'll feed you justice. And here's Jesus. He comes, right? I got to come up with a different accent next time. Jesus is going to take care of it. He is going to come after the one that is trying to destroy your life, your kids' lives, your family lives. He's going to come after them. He's going to take care of it. Jesus never gives up. He always loves you. You're hurt, he heals. If you're weak, he strengthens, and he provides justice. Every time you've been wronged, and you think, I don't want to forgive that person, I don't want to let go of that, he says, let go of it, give it to me. All right, thank you. Now I can feed them justice because you gave it to me, and he'll take care of it. And this is the fulfillment. This is what Jesus says about himself. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd sacrifices his life for the sheep. A hired hand will run when he sees a wolf coming. He will abandon the sheep because they don't belong to him, and he isn't their shepherd. So the wolf attacks them and scatters the flock. Sound familiar? Does that sound like the verse before? The hired hand runs away because he works only for the money and doesn't really care about the sheep. And then Jesus says again, I am the good shepherd. He's saying, you remember that prophecy? And they all knew the prophecy. They would have known what he was talking about. I'm the good shepherd, and I know my own sheep, and they know me. Just as my Father knows me, and I know the Father, so I sacrifice my life for the sheep. We know his voice. We respond because we know his voice. When you're in the grocery store and you hear your friend, or if you're in the grocery store and you hear the cry of a kid that you know, every mother knows their kid's cry. It sounds distinct. You know it. They respond. That's how we hear God. The more time we spend with him, the more we recognize his voice. We're like, oh, that's him. And we don't respond to someone who isn't him. If you hear a voice in your head and you know it's not God, something that says, you know what? You're not really worth it. And you go, wait a minute. That's not what my God sounds like. But until you learn what he sounds like, you could get tricked. You ever done something wrong and then you heard, you always get it wrong. That's not God. That's not him. You got to recognize his voice because he's going to say, all right, I got you. Let's fix this. He's always going to bring you into a place of restoration because he sacrificed for us. I have other sheep too. Here he's talking about the Gentiles. He's talking to the Jews at this point, and he's telling them, I have other sheep too that are not in this sheepfold. I must bring them also. They will listen to my voice, and there will be one flock and one shepherd. He's like, we're all going to be together. Like it or not, it's going to be one big family. It's going to be different. The Father loves me because I sacrificed my life so I may take it back. No one can take my life from me. I sacrifice it voluntarily. For I have the authority to lay it down when I want to, and also to take it up again. For this is what the Father has commanded. Jesus chose to come. He chose to be born. He chose to be born knowing the sacrifice he would make. He chose to fulfill the days and all the things that came along with it. I love reminding teenagers that Jesus went through puberty. He felt absolutely insane at points. He was a teenager. He understands teenage years. He was a young adult. He knows. He was never married. He knows what it feels like to be lonely. He was rejected. He knows what it feels like. He was betrayed. He knows what it feels like. He was betrayed by a close friend. He was laughed at and ridiculed by family, by his hometown. He knows what it feels like. If you think about it, Mary and Joseph living in a small town, having a baby before they were married. Now, they knew it wasn't their baby, but really, did everybody else believe that? And the shame they would have walked under, and the shame that Jesus would have grown up in. They would have been like, that's Joseph's kid. Oh, yeah, we know where you come from. He knows what it's like to have a reputation that's not accurate. And he says, you know what? I got you. I'm with you. I understand. Nothing is wasted in the kingdom. Nothing is wasted when we give it to God. When we go through hard things, when we face ridicule, when we are like, Lord, I'm so alone, nothing is wasted when you give it to him. Absolutely nothing. We're going to close when it comes to being online because I'm going to play a video for you guys in just a second, and I can't play that online. But for you guys online, I just encourage you to, we'll put a link to the video in the feed. But I want you guys to the takeaway from today, what I want you to take home this Christmas, right? Where are you at? Where are you at with him? You go, okay, Lord, where am I? Are you running after me? Am I running after you? Am I wrapped up in your arms? Am I on your back? Where am I at with you? And there's so many different places we can be with him in our own heart. I mean, in him, we're always wrapped up with Jesus in reality. But where are we emotionally and spiritually with him? I had the most amazing opportunity to pray with Myra's daughter this week. She passed yesterday. I went up, and it was beautiful in the sense, like, I got there, and she wasn't that coherent, and I was able to ask her. I said, hey, Ayana, I need to know, do you know Jesus? And she didn't say very many coherent things the whole time I was there, but when I asked her that, she opened her eyes, and she looked at me, and she said, I love Jesus. And I was like, I said this, that's all I needed to know. That's it. That's all I needed to know. And I told her, I said, he's so proud of you. He loves you, and he is so proud of you. He's got you. He's with you. And it was such an amazing moment to be able to talk with this girl. I'd never met her before, but to be there with Myra in this season and know that Jesus is filling that room. And that's where we're at. When we're faced with hard things, we're like, okay, do you know Jesus? Yeah, I love Jesus. And that's the question we have to ask people. Do you know Jesus? And they say no. Or they say, I don't want anything to do with him. Because, and then they fill in the blank with something that's human. Because Jesus is da-da-da-da-da. Like, fill in the blank. And we go, oh, that's not actually Jesus. That's a bad reputation of him, but that's not him. And we get to help people find that place. Like, this is actually who he is. This is actually what he says about us. This is actually how he loves us. He's the one who runs after us. He rescues us and he carries us. All right, let's go ahead and turn off the light.